the title really wasn't kidding when it said An Unquiet Grave, because this movie is really fucking boring. So An Unquiet Grave is the newest Shudder original to be released globally. Just came out yesterday. It did previously release at a horror film fest last year in America, but yesterday was its global release. It's directed and written by Terence Cree and also written by Christine Nyland, who actually acts in the film as well. It's a really, really low budget horror film. Now, this doesn't always mean it's going to be good, and it doesn't always mean it's going to be bad. The problem with this movie is nothing really happens and nothing is explained until maybe about 25-30 minutes into the film. It's hard to rag on super low budget films like this where there's only a few people who have been in the making of it. It's really hard to rag on it. It doesn't really bring anything. It doesn't bring any scares. It doesn't bring any tension. The acting is not the greatest. The writing is not the greatest. The plot is kind of pointless. It's supposed to be this exploration of the lengths that people will go to when they're grieving or when they're trying to reconcile their grief. Now that's great, that's powerful stuff, but you've got to do it properly. You can't just allude to the fact that these people are grieving and that they make these decisions because they're grieving. We don't know that. We don't know if that's the case. You know, I really, really like the idea. I really love the idea that's in this film. But unfortunately, it's really boring and it's not scary. And when you're making a horror film, it's got to be a little bit scary or it's got to be somewhat interesting. It just kind of meandered from one thing to the next. Then the ending happened and you're just kind of like, well, all of that was pretty pointless. Like, we just ended up back at square one. The film isn't terrible. Like I said, it's not terrible. It's pretty good for having such a low production staff. Like it's pretty good for that. You know, you've only got 2 actors. You've got one director who also wrote and directed. You've got an actor who wrote and acted in the film. These people have put in a lot of work, you know, to get this film done. And I can appreciate that. And I also really appreciate that the film is only an hour and 15 minutes. Like, it is really short. You don't lose a lot by watching this film. Even though it was only an hour and 15 minutes, it did still drag at a lot of points. Maybe it was better off making this as a short film. You know, maybe like a 45-minute sort of thing, because it's crazy to me that in an hour and 15 minutes there was this much filler. You know, there was so much filler in this film when you would think with an hour and 15 minutes with such a short runtime that you would get a lot done. Like, you would get so much packed into it that there would be no boring moments, no nothing like this. But unfortunately for this film, it felt like it was 3 hours long when it was only just over an hour. If you've got Shudder and you want something short to watch, go for it. It's not the worst film ever made. It's not the greatest thing you've ever seen either. I would only recommend it to people who already have Shudder and who don't know what else to watch, you know? I wouldn't tell you to go and actively seek out this film. That's why I'm going to give An Unquiet Grave 5 out of 10. So guys, have you seen An Unquiet Grave? Comment down below, let me know what you thought of it. And yeah, are you preferring these indie horror films over the big budget horror films? I'm quite enjoying all the indie films, to be honest. It's nice to get a change of pace where you can explore things maybe a little bit more deeply in the indie films. You know, you can explore the characters a little bit more. So yeah guys, just click through to another video and let's keep having some fun, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.